Hi everyone, it's Little Egypt with a brand new series of Glow, gorgeous ladies of wrestling. Woo! With a full recap of season 3 and 4 and 2 very, very special guests coming up next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That was awesome, right?
There we go, there it is. I was like, where's it at?
How excited does music like this get you?
Love it.
Hey, singing the season opener was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, everyone, my name's Little Egypt, and today we have an amazing show for you. Sitting next to me is the beautiful Britney Young. You may know her as Carmen Wade from the Glow series. I know her as Machu Picchu because once you get a character in Glow, right, you officially become a Glow girl and you lose all other names. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hi guys. Machu Picchu.
So, quick, we're going to go around the room and introduce the rest of the hosts, but tell us a little bit about where people can find you right now.
If you guys want to find me and you like pug pictures, go to my Instagram. It is Britney Young. Britney spelled like Spears, Britney. If you want to tweet and see how much pieces of bread I eat a day, find me on Twitter at It's Britney Young. Right. I eat a lot of bread.
Bread's great.
Like to tweet about it.
What's your favorite type of bread? Mine's sourdough. What's yours?
Sourdough.
Yes.
Sourdough. That's good.
Okay.
I'm Bill Hanstock. You can find me on all social media at Sundown Motel and check out uprocks.com. And my favorite type of bread is French loaf.
French loaf.
Started a thing.
I love it.
And I'm Commander USA. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG. And my favorite piece of bread is anything bread.
Woo! Hi, everybody. I'm Babe the Farmer's Daughter, a.k.a. Ursula Hayden, and you can find me at Glow Wrestling with 1W at Twitter.
Wow.
All right.
This is so exciting. I
Very
have not seen Babe since it was probably around 2010 or 2011.
Way too long.
Yeah, way too
busy
long.
Busy lifestyle. Too busy.
And you have been, because behind the scenes you've been working as a consultant on this new series, and we just can't wait to pick your brain, and we can't wait to learn a little bit from Britney about her experience on the show.
Yes.
And we're here to recap episodes 3 and 4.
Good ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
You had just said you watched the entire series. You're on your third time.
I'm on my third binge. I have a life. I've tasted fresh air in the past 10 days, but I am on the third time around, and it's fantastic every single time.
Right?
Yeah. It just gets better and better, and you notice weird random things.
Yeah, more than I did the first time.
Yeah.
The first time I'm just total shocked that I'm even watching it.
Yes.
You know,
So here's my question. So when you open up, it's not you for a little bit. Do you wait to watch you, or do you say, no, I gotta go to my scenes, and do you fast forward first?
No, I actually watch it all the way through, only because, like, I feel like it's like I'm watching my friends hang out and then I'm randomly there. Like, I kind of don't notice most of the time. Or, like, the scenes that I wasn't even there to shoot for. Like, especially in 4, the scene with, like, Alison and Gail when she's talking about what she wears, like, blew me away and I wasn't there for that and it took me by surprise. So that's what I'm more looking for more than myself.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you prepared for a lifetime of people coming up to you and going,
Oh, so cute.
It hasn't happened yet, but if they do it, I will be critiquing the crap out of it. It's a real no, I mean, I'm glad that people, will be picking up on those little things and things that we at the time thought were just like, because I remember shooting it and Liz and Carly were like, just like point to your eyes and just blow. And I'm like, that's stupid. And then it worked. So I like when little things like that kind of come out of weird things that you didn't think would work.
I love how it feels like you were just like the perfect fit for this character.
Thank you.
Tell us about your journey. What was it like? How did you get cast ultimately?
Well, so I started off in this business. I went to USC Film School, graduated in 2010, came out with a lot of debt and just needed like a steady job. So I decided to work in production. And I was a production secretary. I worked in accounting for a little bit. I've done movies. I've done TV. But for the last 3 years, I've been a producer's assistant, specifically on The Mentalist and then Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on the CW. And watching casting tapes just kind of was like, this is my dream. I got to start. Found some representation, and they started sending me out. But interestingly enough, for Glow specifically, I read an article on Deadline that Netflix was bringing Glow to screen, and Jenji Kohan was involved. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something in there for me. Let me, email my manager. life got in the way, totally didn't do it. A couple days later, got these sides, and I was like, what is this? And he's like, oh, you have an audition for Glow. And I just went through like a YouTube rabbit hole and was like, this is insane. I need to be a part of it immediately.
Awesome.
And here we are.
As far as wrestling goes,
glad
we
to
said
have you.
Yeah, we
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
You
vision.
guys,
Yeah. Tell us about like what knowledge you had about wrestling prior to getting cast, and did you have to continue to like?
I had no knowledge whatsoever.
Wow.
I was not a fan growing up. I kind of thought it was like, I didn't see what the point of it was, to be honest. I was like, I don't want to watch people hurt each other.
Yeah.
And then coming to training with Chavo, and he taught us exactly what wrestling was about, I just started falling in love with it. Like, I started seeing that it's technique, it's performance, it's also athletic ability, but more so, like, you don't think it's a team sport, but it really is a team sport, because you have to communicate if you're the face with the heel, if you're the heel with the face, and make sure that you guys are safe and you're still kind of putting on a good match. So that's what I started, you know, falling in love with when we started training.
So were you fearless? Because you're the first actress that we're speaking to that has no wrestling experience. So your first bumps.
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
How
did that play out?
I was nervous, but I think what I was more nervous about, and shout out to Kia Stevens, she inspired me and took me under her wing. I was nervous about hurting the girls. Like, I'm a big girl, and these little girls are coming up, and I'm like, I'm gonna like snap your leg, I'm gonna hurt you. And Kia, I went up to her and I was like, how can I feel more confident? And she's like, wrestling is not about size. It's about technique, it's about communication. You can do it. You can let these girls throw you around the ring just as much as you can throw them. And once I think I snapped into that, I wasn't scared to do a lot of things, and I wanted to do more. I mean, Chavo Guerrero Jr., who's our wrestling coordinator, and our stunt coordinator, Shauna Duggins, are amazing, but they were definitely like, these girls are going to be the flyers, these girls are going to be the base. So we kind of did that. But I was one of those people where I was like, I want to learn how to jump from the second rope. And I would just jump into the mat. Like, I want to be, I want to take the suplex. Chavo would put me over. So they were very inclusive in being like, you probably won't do this on screen, but we'll still teach you how to do it. And that was fantastic.
That is cool.
How was your forward roll?
I do side rolls only. They were like, I was a cheerleader too, and they're like, you know how to do forward rolls, and I went in there like, that's not a forward roll. And I was like, cool, I'll just barrel roll. It's fine.
Wow, I don't want to hog the time. Bill, what were your thoughts?
Of
Watching Britney and watching her character evolve. This time it was pretty interesting. Episode 3, we got to see her, starting to embrace the characters. Yeah.
As I talked about last week,
Yeah.
I am continually blown away by how the show is able to thread the very fine needle of being a prestige drama / comedy, and also paying respect to pro wrestling without dumbing it down, or without making stuff up. Because there's very Little Egypt and Babe can tell you there's very little portrayal of pro wrestling in the media that actually gives a crap about pro wrestling. So it was amazing to watch this show have both parts of that, and also have so many amazing three-dimensional, fully formed characters that all got their own arc, and that all got screen time, and were all amazing. I mean, we sort of got this sense, when all the reviews were coming out, we got this sense a little bit on the red carpet and at the premiere, but I just feel like the vast majority of the cast, no one knew any of them before Glow, and I feel like all of them are going to be huge stars now, because everyone's so good in it.
Right. Agreed. This was the first time, actually, that the character Bash, the producer, steps into the screen, and you can kind of embrace him. For Babe and I, who were there during when this was actually happening, it looks to me like a combination of Rickless, who had the money, and both producers, David McLean and Johnny Cafarella, each of them wore the same exact hat in different seasons. So what did you think about this character that came out as Bash?
He's great. He's
awesome.
Well, I mean, it's interesting to go from watching, because I wasn't even sure they were going to bring a character like that out.
Yeah.
Until because I watched the documentary.
Yeah.
And I know that the financier guy, I can't remember his name, but like he didn't want to participate in the documentary.
Yeah.
So you don't have a real sense of who he was,
Yeah.
except for like what was just kind of outlined in that, and then you have his character.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to see like, oh, they actually made this guy, and to see, okay, he's the money guy, and he's going to interfere with a little bit with the director.
Yeah.
So that was really nice to see like that character come in.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't butt heads for very long. I'm glad that they kind of formed an alliance pretty quick, and then you kind of saw the best of both worlds, the creative imagination, wrestling imagination of Bash, along with the kind of the off characteristics that Sam Sylvia had. That was refreshing, actually, because I didn't want to see a lot of headbutting there and turning it into that much of a drama when we wanted to really see the wrestling characters.
Exactly,
come out,
right. Uh-huh.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What did you think of that, babe?
I loved the character. I think he just nailed it. He made me laugh, and then he made me feel emotion, that with what was going on with his mother.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to be this big man on top of his game with his business and everything, but really it's mommy there. It's a great character. I love what they did with him. He kept me laughing.
And he's adorable, too.
And
from a girl's point of
not to
view,
mention
like,
he's really
adorable.
good looking.
I had such a crush on him when I was a sophomore in high
He's so
school.
cute.
And longtime Veronica
Yes.
Mars fans. It's
Team
so
Piz.
cool. Yes, Team Piz
Yep.
all the way.
Yep.
It's so fun to watch him get this role after like watching him with Veronica Mars and being so in love with that character. But I have to, since we're talking about episodes 3 and 4, and we have 2 original Glow girls here, I think we have to ask, during the original run of Glow, drugs robot?
I didn't see a drug
No
robot.
robot. There wasn't
But
any
I think
drug
it would
robot.
have been a big hit. I think we would have enjoyed at least taking it for a ride
Absolutely.
around the casino. That would have been fun. I have to tell you, watching Glow from the Glow girl perspective, Babe, you just kept coming to my head because many don't know that Babe is actually the owner of Glow. Did you pick it up in 2001?
2001.
2001, and then she was also a consultant on the series. And I was looking at the show, wondering, what it was that you were doing on the set. Can you share that with us?
Oh, it was surreal. On set, they had it at the Palladium,
Yeah.
and
Oh, cool.
I got stuck in traffic, so I was kind of a little bit late getting there. And when I walked in, Alison Brie was snap suplexing fortune cookie, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm late! Oh, I'm gonna be in so much trouble!" And then I had to snap back in. No, it's not. We're not back in it. Just for a split half a second, I was back there again, and it was. And then I started to think, okay, I must be in a coma. I must have been in a bad accident, and this is some kind of weird dream, thing that I'm having. And then Allison comes up to me, and she's got this hair with a mixture between beastie and stinky, and she's exactly my height. So we're looking at each other like this, eye to eye, and I'm like, who are you? Like, oh my gosh, this is weird, And then I look at her outfit. She's got this Russian outfit on with the stinky and beastie hairdo going, and I was just totally in shock and just walking in the clouds and just felt weird, surreal, like, is this really happening? Is it somebody pinch me?
Yeah.
You need to, like, now it's taking its time to sink in. This is really happening, because I worked so many years with many different people to try to get to this point, and it always ended in failure. And now, really, we're sitting here talking about the all-new Glow with a new, gorgeous, awesome group of Glow girls.
It's happening.
It's really happening? Oh my gosh. It's still taking its time to sink in. I feel like I'm in a dream, and like I said, I'm in a coma. Somebody, don't wake me up, okay? Leave me in it.
How did you become the rights holder?
In 2001, I wanted to do a live show. And a couple of the other girls wanted to do a live show too. So I called up the owner and just asked him, I want to do a live show. Can I borrow the Glow name? And he turned around and made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
That's awesome.
Really? I was totally blown away by it. And he said, good luck. That's
Wow.
it. It's like, what?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Do you happen to know, in the development of the Netflix series, was it always Glow?
Was it going to be called anything else?
Yeah, was it?
Oh, I don't. I was working with Liz and Carly for at least a year before Netflix even came in. We were working on a script. I signed them exclusively for a year to Glow
Oh, cool.
with them. And it was about a week after the year expired with them. I gave them an email, well, do you have a script? What's going on? It's been a year. Probably going to be another failure, right?
Development
Okay, I'll send another
takes a while.
email. Oh, what's going on, And the next email back was the script. I'm like, oh, cool. And I start reading. Oh, wow, this is so Glow. I love it. And all these Glow influences and everything. And then I put it down and I'm like, this is really great, but something's wrong. I said, where's my part? Right? I literally did. Where's my part?
Yeah.
And then I was like, gosh, this is weird because and then I put my ego aside and I got out my pen and paper and I started writing down the girls' names that are so much more worthy than me to take a cameo on a show like this. And by the time I got down, I was like, Nanuchka, Americana, Attaché, Susie Spirit, MTV, Matilda the Hun. I mean, it just, Baby the Farmer's Daughter. It's just Little Egypt. I mean, it just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, well, we could do the cameo show, But so then I'm like, okay, I think it's just good the way it is. Because if, and I kept going back to the documentary where we got everybody together that wanted to, and they did their interview. They said what they wanted to say. And it turned out fabulous, and that was just a great project for us all to be together that will be there forever. And this is a new project introducing new Glow Girls. So really, the Glow Girls are a group. It's not just one person, it's working as a group. Mm-hmm. I figured this is just this is the best. Because if I'm in it, oh my gosh, I better never be, I'm going to get slaughtered, like a pig. So, and if Little Egypt's in it, it's best the way it is, and maybe something will spin into something different, with the original girls. I'm always hoping, I'm hopeful. I'm not saying anything is, but, Glow's in a really good position right now, and that's everything.
Very good.
And the original Glow Girls are in a much better position than they've ever been, even in the 80s,
Sure.
With the internet and everything. And the attention that we're all getting is just incredible. It's all positive, and I'm just loving it. I'm excited for us, and I'm excited to see where this spins. If we're going to have a second season, it's going to spin into other big stuff, and I have good hopes. I mean, I really think this show is done even better and far beyond than I ever thought. I knew it was going to be great. It was going to be big, but it's just exploded. Everything. It's just my phone. My is on fire.
Blowing up.
The email, the computer went poof. I swear the smoke started coming out the back. It's like, oh my God, the cat probably pissed on it. But I don't. It's just been incredible. It's just really. I mean, so pinch me.
Oh, sure, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
really, if I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be in the hospital, but,
She might put you in a headlock.
Yeah, no, I had that last week. I got put in a headlock. I'm going to ask you this week, put me in a headlock.
I do have to say that the writers somehow, when I'm watching, for example, the party at Bash's house, right? And he starts throwing costumes at these actresses. And they're kind of taken back a little bit, like when they're starting to realize that their characters have to, have an element of, what's the word I'm looking for, Brittany?
Stereotype?
Stereotype, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
She's so smart. I get to sit next to someone smart. And when
thanks a lot.
no,
You put you in a headlock.
when I was watching that, I was thinking that there was some influence. They did so much research. They must have had a lot of conversations with somebody who knew what it was like to be behind the
They
scenes.
did tons and tons. I mean, I was constantly throwing newspaper articles, pictures, answering, well, what's this wrestling, what kind of wrestling move can I put here that looks really dirty, and they, from one of the interviews I read, I mean, I wasn't there, but in the interview, they were watching old wrestling, time wrestlers from back in the day to get inspired. And,
Yeah.
you know, so that's, I understand more now why it took a year, you know, to get the final script.
Yeah.
And then after the final script came in, it started to move pretty quickly. You know, shortly after that, you know, they said Netflix really wants to do this, and I was like, wow.
Final script of the pilot, right?
Yeah, the final script's the pilot.
You must have been
The
thrilled
final.
when you saw Jenji Kohan as the executive producer.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, it's like a seal, a golden seal of approval, guaranteed success. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, we can't go wrong.
Especially on Netflix.
Yeah.
Right.
How excited were you?
Oh, I was so excited. I mean, if you look at Jenji with Weeds and with Orange is the New Black, she, even though she kind of does have shows that play a little bit into these stereotypes, it's never we're throwing a stereotype at you and we're going to leave it. It's always we're throwing a stereotype at you, we're going to discuss it, we're going to try to break it down, and we're going to show you how this character is going against that. And I think that's what was really great, because like with the documentary, when I saw, you know, I freaked out a little bit when I got the character breakdown, and I was like, Machu Picchu, and I'm like, I'm not Peruvian. I'm not South American. Like, how do I even take this character name on? And then I saw with all of you girls how, you know, like Spanish Red, like all these where it's like, you might be that ethnicity, but I don't know if you are, or you might be this party girl that does drugs, but I don't know. And I think that that's what kind of like drew me to it, because I was like, all right, let's see how they're actually bashing down these stereotypes. And I'm so glad that we kind of, I mean, I think we touched on it a lot, but to even bring it up, I think was something that is like, whoa, we're actually really going to try to break these down. And a lot of shows don't do that right now.
No, I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled.
Wrestling has a very long history of ethnicities pretending to be other ethnicities.
Exactly. Well, so does Hollywood.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
does Hollywood. So,
That's true.
you
Ghost
know,
in the Shell.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I mean, I don't ever want to be someone who's doing that. But like I said, with this show where we discuss it and try to find the real backstory to it, I think is fantastic.
Yeah. Also, like, I never, for an instant, in how it was presented in the show, Machu Picchu, the name, just came from like the costume and like the fact that it's a mountain.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Some
where it
people
comes-
have asked though. They're just like, "Oh, are you Peruvian?" I'm like, "No, thank you." Like, I'm not, but
I wasn't
honored.
Egyptian.
So
yeah, that's right.
Okay, so your agent calls you and says, "You got the part." Were you crying? What was your reaction? And what did you give yourself a treat? Did you go out and buy something and say, "Yes, this is like my present to myself"?
You're very sweet that you thought that he was that kind. My agent and manager, I was actually at Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and I was actually one of the very first girls cast. So for me, it was like a month-long process. For a lot of the other girls, it was like 1 or 2 weeks. So I had known that I was one of the options for about 3 or 4 weeks. And my manager and agent called me together. They never do that. And my manager was just like, well, good news is we're going to keep you on as a client. And I was like, oh, like, okay, guys, like, I'm sorry, I'll get it next time. And then my agent was like, that was a dick move. We just talked to Netflix. You got the offer. And I just started crying, started hyperventilating in my boss's office. And she heard me and she was like, what's going on? And I was like, who do I tell first, my family or my bosses? So I just told her, I was like, come in here, like had her and Rachel come in, and I told them, and Aline started crying, Rachel started screaming, and it was just, it was a lot of love and a lot of joy. But I mean, I was very sad, but then also hearing, okay, you start training next Monday, I was like, cool, like, you know.
Like, no 2 weeks. You're like, I can only give you a week's notice.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I was seriously like, I gotta hit the gym hard, and I still did it, and Kate was not prepared at all for what we had to do.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
And, yeah, tell us, what did you have to do? I know for us, training was very difficult, very intense.
I mean, I for me, it was also difficult and it was intense, but I think it was because it was using new muscles and new pieces of my body I'd never before. Like, I was a cheerleader in high school, but I was the base. I was used to having to catch girls and having to, you know, make sure they're safe. But then for me to have Allison throw me across the ring, or, you know, to just fall on my back, like, I'm falling from a tall place with a lot of weight coming down. So that was something that was very shocking. But I think we got a little cocky at the beginning, because we walked in and Chavo was just like, I'm going to teach you how to get into the ring. And we're like, we know how to get into the ring. Literally, we had to like wait in line. Girls like couldn't open the ropes to get in. Some girls were just rolling in. Like, it was not graceful at all. And then he just started really slow. Like, he told us when he was training and when you girls were training, like, you guys were doing what, like back bumps within the first like few hours? We were weeks to get there.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, like
Oh.
he very much was like
Lucky.
Yeah, he was very much like,
Wow.
we're gonna teach you
That's
how to
awesome.
walk together in the ring, how to do your footwork. We did that every day for like a couple hours the first week, and then it was just getting on your back and doing the back bump slowly, always on a mat, always everything. So we really built into getting all these moves down, the hammerlock, headlock, how to lock up, and then started doing the sequences and the choreography. But I mean, it was a new feeling. It was a new intensity, and to have everybody standing there, like we all came in at the same level besides Kia. So to come in on the same level and learn together was, I think, what bonded us. You know, I mean, nobody had any egos coming in. We all did not know how to wrestle besides Kia, and Kia didn't really know how to act. So on that turn, we got to help her there as the same. She got to help us. So we kind of grew together in that aspect, and always, like for my character, I was supposed to know how to wrestle, and in episode 5, I think Allie and we have a little match, and we were doing suplexes and stuff like that. They were like, Britt, you got to learn how to do this by 5, but they taught everybody. So if they needed to pull out a suplex, they totally could. So I love that they continue to keep us on the same level all the way through.
Did it make you a wrestling fan? Did you start watching?
Oh,
wrestling?
yeah. Oh, I started watching. I watched a bunch of you guys' matches. I told you I was in a rabbit hole for days. And then Chavo and our ring technician, Marty, they actually are on Lucha Underground, which we went and saw an exhibition down in Escondido. And we came back and we were like, we want to learn how to do this. I want to jump from here. And they were all just like,
It's a lot of fun learning how to wrestle. It's painful as heck, but it's a lot of fun.
Exactly. And then you had to think about it, because we were just like, he was like, oh, that wasn't invented till like 91. That wasn't, like, that was another thing that I appreciated, that we did not try to bring moves that weren't things you guys would be doing, and I really appreciated that. I mean, as much as I wanted to jump from all these ropes and do twists and turns, but we wanted to keep it as authentic to the time period as possible.
We appreciate that.
Very nice.
Thanks, Chavo.
Yeah, Chavo, for those of you who are listening, Chavo Guerrero was part of the dynasty of the Guerrero family. His uncle Mondo was our original trainer, and what I loved, absolutely loved, was how quickly in the series he was replaced by Cherry Bang. Not Chavo, but the male trainer was replaced by Cherry Bang, and that was right on point with our history, because Mondo never made it to Las Vegas. So he was there just to train the girls of the pilot.
Who trained you girls then when you get into Vegas?
Then the trainers went Royal Hawaiian, Americana. I was trained by Attaché.
I
Oh,
was trained by
wow.
Nanuchka and Attaché.
Oh, I wish I had known that. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that actually spoke to my heart. I was like, right on. They put a girl out there to train ASAP, because that's what we had to go through. Was like, all of a sudden you know enough. Now let's get it reinforced by someone who can do it better than you.
I wish I had known that, because us girls, when we got episode 2, we're like, what? Salty's gone. Why? I wish we had known that. That would have probably changed our perspective on it. I mean, we loved it, but it was like, what is that for? Can we not afford Salty? Like, what's happening?
Well, no, it's
That
funny
makes more
because
sense.
I saw him on the red carpet, and I was like, because like they're all you ladies coming out. It's like, I can know who to talk to the ladies and everything, and then all of a sudden it's like I see this dude and like with long hair, and I was like, why are you here? I was like, who are you in this show? I didn't get to actually talk to him, but I was like just confused until I watched it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
He was fantastic.
perfect. Yeah, he was great. It was so awesome when shooting to episode 4, when your dad shows up in the ring to take you back, and you look so cute and small and just so like adorable, like a little tiny little, give me my little daughter back right now. And then off he marched you to the car, and I thought, oh my God, that's perfect.
Yep.
The casting of Goliath Jackson was absolutely perfect, and I had to text you, because I'm like, where did he work? Because he looked absolutely like he was a legend. Like, I couldn't figure out where he came from.
We were actually at the premiere.
Yeah, he's on the carpet.
We were walking out of the premiere, and he's walking out in his gigantic white suit.
Yep.
And I'm like a few people in back of him, but I hear all of the ushers turn to each other. That guy's gotta be a wrestler. He's gotta be.
Right?
Like, which one is he?
Oh my
But
God.
it's amazing.
He's not.
He's not a wrestler. But I do want to talk
Amazing.
about what his introduction of the Lumberjacksons.
Yeah.
Their introduction. For one thing, Brodus and Carlito are amazing.
They're good.
Their
Love them.
like I talked about this last week. This is a show of reactions. Like
Yes.
the reaction shots
Yeah.
are amazing. Everyone's takes are so good.
Yep.
But one thing that I loved, one of actually my favorite little moments in the entire series or season, is when he comes in. He's angry. He blows past everyone, and then there's an insert shot of him feeling the ring, and it never comes up again. He never addresses why he does it. It never is, but it's such an amazing, again, 3-dimensional characters that you care about that are real people. He is so upset about his daughter going into the world of wrestling, but he still has the mindset of, I have to at least make sure that they're doing this right. And it's not
and check it out.
Yeah.
That was
brilliant.
That was actually, there's one thing I know about the show, which is interesting. I know what was cut and what didn't make it into the show. And he actually has a monologue where he does come in and it's like, look at these ropes. You have spittoon, which is an homage to what you guys really started out in the ring. Like, if you look at pictures of you guys' first gym, it's Chava's boxing gym. Like, our production team did such a great job recreating exactly where you guys came from. But I actually enjoy, just like you were saying, that they cut that out. And just like a lot of things where it's like, if you're in this wrestling mentality, you know exactly what he's doing. You know he's making sure, is this not only one safe, but is this good enough for my daughter, even though I don't want her to be there?
But just checking.
And it's such a, and I don't think that you even need to be a wrestling fan to appreciate that moment. Like, it's clear, like it's clear what he's doing, and it doesn't need to be said. It's just a very touching moment in the midst of all of the other drama going on there.
Public alliance.
Oh, and how was that kiss?
Oh my God. The funniest part about it, so when Chris came on, he came on for episode 3, and I knew at that time I was going to kiss him in episode 4. And I literally found out, sorry TMI, while getting spray tanned naked in my head makeup girl's bathroom. And she was like, oh, Chris Lowell is coming in to play Bash. And I was like, what? like I said, I had a crush on him since sophomore year when he was on Life as We Know It. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. But he's such a fantastic guy. And what I really appreciated with him was that he and I had a lot of scenes together and a lot of very emotional, deep scenes, you know, in 4 when we do the kiss and kind of have this moment where Carmen stands up to his dad. And then again in episode 7 when she has her panic attack. He and I talked, what is our relationship and what exactly are we giving to each other and how are we helping each other kind of get out of these moments of pressure by our family. And I really appreciated that, especially because this is my first, you know, kind of big gig, and I wanted to do the character justice, and having someone just sit there and talk about it was like, yes. But I mean, I have it on video. I kissed Chris Lowell. I kissed Chris Lowell.
I put it on slow.
I have when we said goodbye the last day, I was like, if I knew sophomore year that I would be kissing you, and I wasn't embarrassed about it because he is that great of a guy, and he cares to make the story better and will do anything for it. So
you just never know what tomorrow will bring. But what I really, really want to know, it's important. Do you always sleep with your tennis shoes on?
Do I sleep with my tennis shoes on in the show?
No, in the scene where you were
put the shoes at the end of the bed like you're.
You know what? The funny thing about it is they were just like, "Hey, remember when you like used to sneak out and you do all this?" I was like, in my house, I just like, "Mom, Dad, going out to Jim's Creek, bye." Like, I had no idea how to do that scene, but it was really fun.
No, it's adorable. But I was like, her dad would probably think, oh, she was so tired she couldn't even take her shoes off.
Well, I thought, how many days was this going to last?
And it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and her feet haven't moved.
Like, she moved into a hotel. Like, did she not think that she needed to, like, come out of her room at some point? Carmen. Not thinking it through.
You know, something awesome that you just did. My girlfriend knew that I was going to be hanging out with you today, and she was watching something. She, like, showed me your Instagram about the panic attack and anxiety, and like you posted talking about, hey, you know, this is a legit thing that I do go through. Yeah. It wasn't just for. So is that something you went through during the audition times, or?
I mean, I have probably, maybe since graduating college, I've probably had 4 big panic attacks to where I couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, had to like hide under my covers and couldn't move at all. And most of them were job related. I mean, I was working freelance, paycheck to paycheck, in an apartment I couldn't afford. And I love my parents, but I never want to try to bring them back and be like, I need your help, I need your support, you know? So when I saw that she was having a panic attack, a lot of people, like even my aunt Danielle, bless her, she was like, I can coach you through a panic attack. I've had them before, like if you need help. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna draw from what I know. And our director, Jesse Poole, he was like, hey, do you need to like run around the, you know, parking lot? Do you need to like get sweaty? And I was like, you know what? I don't want to over dramatize it because not everybody is literally, you know, passing out and falling to the ground and has all this sweat. Panic attacks can come in all shapes and sizes. I just drew from what I knew. And I told that to Liz and Carly when we did it, I was like, this is how I experienced it. Can we do it this way? And they were just like, we are totally fine with that. If you're comfortable, we're comfortable. And, you know, having that kind of putting myself into that was very, very gratifying, because I just love that they're very collaborative and they want to bring truth to everything we do, even if it's, you know, not only just the wrestling, but everything else. So, and a lot of people responded to it, which was also very overwhelming. I didn't expect a lot of people would be like, hey, I experienced panic attacks. That was great. I could really relate. So that was very nice.
No, it's awesome that you put it up.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
And that is a picture from the day that I shot, literally was in my trailer, like, oh, Mom, look at my makeup. I just had a panic attack. Cool. You know.
Episode 4 was when the girls moved into the Dusty Spur hotel. How fun was that? Here, just from a different perspective, I was so happy to see that the rooms were like average, that the accommodations were not fantastic, because the Riviera Hotel was not a 5-star hotel. That we, these small rooms really did have 2 girls in them, and they had to live together in these confined environments. I remember one time I went to go into Chainsaw and Spike's room to work on a match. It was all dark. They had the curtains closed, and they haven't had their room cleaned in a month. They're like, yeah, we don't let the maids in here because of all the hazardous flammables in the bathtub. And they're like, you don't smoke, do you? I was like, no, it's going to blow up the Riviera. And it's just like, that's so cool, because that, like, again, I'm going to defer to you, babe, because stuff like that, you don't know unless you were there, unless you had a really good idea of what it was like to have these moments. So when I saw the writing, I'm just like, thank you for giving someone a glimpse of the same culture, and the tribe that's developing right now is the same feeling that we have when we're watching you guys. We see a tribe starting to emerge. So kudos to that.
Did you guys, though, so wait, you guys stayed in the Riviera, but did you actually move into the Glow house? Was that a thing, or was that just for the show?
A couple of the girls lived in the Glow house.
Okay.
After season 2.
After season 2, we moved into apartments.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we were getting a little too rowdy at the Riviera Hotel, and
yes.
they
Well,
got
Angelina,
better
you were
restaurant.
like, what, 20, 21 in Vegas at that
19.
time? Okay, 19, right. Okay,
19,
19,
yeah,
even 19 years
yeah,
old.
yeah.
So did the rules apply of like, well, since you're crammed in this little room, there's 2 of you, you put the sock outside to where it's like, hey, I got a guy in here or whatever, I got someone in here. Like, did you?
I don't know if that was happening or not. I don't even know if the sock method even existed back in the 80s, but I have to tell you that I really dug, the simplicity of it, because it was low budget. It wasn't like, 5-star. And what was it like for you to kind of like try and immerse yourself in that time frame?
I mean, I thought it was fantastic, because it's interesting. The exterior of the Glowtel is not the interior of the Glowtel.
Oh.
So when we first went to the Glowtel, we were just like, these rooms are so small and they're so gross. Like, we weren't really fans of them. And then when we went to the interior set, we just got really like, look at this wallpaper. Like, look at all these pictures. Like, especially in Carmen and Rhonda's room, like, we have all of her like band crushes in frames on the nightstand.
Yeah.
Like, all of our clothes were out, the shag carpet, like it was just
Everything
something
80s.
Yeah, it was just something
It's
that
like
was
stepping
like
back in time. It's a surreal feeling. It's very strange.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where
cool.
you kind of think, if I was, I was alive in the 80s, but if I was conscious enough to pick wallpaper, would this be the wallpaper I chose? So it was fun to kind of be like, is this our aesthetic? Is this Carmen's aesthetic? All that stuff. So yeah, it was fun.
I love it. I love that not everyone got a character right away too. Like some were like, Machu Picchu, easy,
Easy. Some were
She
more
Wolf,
difficult.
no prob. And then Ruth still by episode 4 has not really found her
She's
character.
still figuring it out, yeah.
Yeah, and that was interesting, because that really actually took place too. Like you just didn't spot a girl and go, you're a character. But, we all have different stories on how our characters evolved, which is playing out right in front of you on the Glow series, which, again, I love. You guys are walking in footsteps that were very, very similar to the footsteps that we took.
I'm glad. Did you guys agree with because heel face, right?
No, I was
You were a face?
We're both baby faces.
Okay. Did you guys agree with that, or were you like, I don't know?
Well, my first character was Princess of Darkness in season 2, and
wow.
Yeah, and I was real crazy about that character. So then we went on hiatus and came back for 3 and 4, and then I became Babe the Farmer. I started dressing all farmery, you know, and just pigtails and cut off shorts and jean skirts and the whole shebang, and they're like, oh, we're gonna make you Babe the farmer's daughter. I'm like, Babe, I want to normally like Amy or Sally. I don't want to go on talk shows when they're, well, what's your real name? And I'm like, it's Babe, because we had to stick with our names no matter what, you would have if you didn't.
Yeah.
Did you grab inspiration from the Beverly Hillbillies, like that?
Oh yeah,
was
absolutely.
that? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She was the cutest too. If you look at her pictures, oh my God, the tiniest little waist. You still have a tiny little waist, but I would see her and I'm like, yeah, she's so damn cute, so damn cute. But yeah, what I appreciated was in the characters what you were given. I did not feel comfortable with Little Egypt, 19-year-old trying to belly dance, which is designed for women with a lot of sexual. Confidence, 19-year-olds don't have that.
You pulled it off fabulously.
Yeah.
I must say. I just watched your belly dances just the other night, and I was like, damn, she's really good.
Oh, well, Matt sent me to a couple belly dancing lessons, and I was like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I was editing a video together for a newspaper to give them some footage, and I'm like, oh, this is so clever.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so that was actually playing out, like not Carmen, excuse me, Kia Stevens.
Oh, yeah. Tamay.
Yeah, Tamay, when she was given her character, the welfare queen, and that she goes into Sam Sylvia's office and she's like, can we really talk this out? I mean, those conversations, we didn't really have the luxury of having to go that deep. But it was kind of nice to watch the struggle with the character because even though being a heel is way fun because you can cheat and you can pretty much get away with anything, you also take the biggest impact from the fans. Like that's where like you actually don't know. Nanuchka, just a lot of people don't know this. She didn't make a lot of appearances because she pressed so many buttons that people really did want to, attack her on behalf of the United States of America. It's like, wow. So wrestling, right, Bill?
That's right. I was thinking that if this show on Netflix had been made by wrestling people instead of by like legitimate pedigreed, not to say that wrestling's illegitimate, but like pedigreed Hollywood people, like just so you know, they would already be planning a tour.
Oh yeah.
Like for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like if there had been any like executive producers that were like wrestling promoters, they would already have contracted you guys to like, all right, so we're gonna do a national tour. We're gonna do 8 cities, like
which actually Glow did go on.
I was supposed to say you guys did that, right?
Yeah, Donahue.
Yeah.
But I'm saying he would have been
actually road
taking
tours.
actresses, like they would have been taking actresses, like you would be
Yeah.
out like still in the ring, getting ready to take bumps, like.
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
It
took me 7 hours to do that finale fight. I don't.
After night.
I don't know about that.
Slam.
Oof.
Bill,
Too much
what
Epsom
did
salt.
you think when Goliath slapped Sam Sylvia? I mean, that's typical right out of... We were protecting kayfabe at the time, right?
Sure,
that was a direct threat to
That-
the industry and your income.
That's
not
such
unusual.
a great like Dr. D Easter egg.
Yeah.
Like that's directly out of what
Yeah.
happened, like Hulk Hogan choking out Richard Belzer and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
John Stossel getting slapped.
Yeah.
But it was great. And again, we talked about this a lot last week, but Marc Maron is just amazing and
Incredible.
always so
Yeah.
hilarious and so great at reacting to things and reacting to people. And
He's so great.
so you were talking about how Chavo trained you to get in the ring. I'm assuming that Mark didn't get those lessons because
he didn't. I mean, we always asked him, like, do you want to come to training? Do you want to come? And he's like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't need to. I don't need to know because Sam doesn't need to know. And every single time, like, I don't think he legitimately learned by the end of it how. Like, every single time, even when we would be like, all right, we're starting the scene in the ring, he still would get in that way. And we'd be like, like, and we would ask him, like, do you need help? And, like, lift up the ropes. He's like, I got it. And we're like, okay, you're good.
all the pratfalls are so those are all like legit.
Oh, yeah, like, I mean, you can tell sometimes when he goes a little bit, but it's because he started, and then he's like, I just got to go into the
Right.
fall.
Got it.
So, yeah, he's so great. He's so great.
Yeah, he is. Oh my God. Are you so? I can't wait for a season 2. Do you think that's happening?
Ugh. I think that there's a season 2, but I think it's more because, I mean, hopefully fans, you guys, everyone are like, I want to know what happens. I want to see this show actually begin and how these women who really wanted fame, how do they deal with it now in the wrestling world? Because fame as a wrestler is not fame as an actress, you know? Like, I want to see them fit into that world and how they react to everything. So I hope there's a season 2.
I do too. I want to see more wrestling.
Me three.
What about you guys? I mean,
would
the
love more
first
wrestling.
5
Yes, I want
seasons
more.
was all about like building the story, you know, so that you're in the 80s, so that you understand the characters, you get a little glimpse of what wrestling is. Now let's put these girls in front of a live audience. Like, let's see what happens when they're having to do, like, I would love to see more wrestling content. If
I
they
would
wanted
love
you to
to see
wrestle
more.
more, would you do
Oh,
it?
we asked to wrestle more. Like, I mean, we
Wow.
understood why the story played
in
out
your
the way it
blood
played
now.
out.
Oh, you're in
yes,
trouble.
yeah, we miss it. And it was one of those things where, you know, especially for our finale fights, we trained for the last month to get ready for those fights. So we were like, can we wrestle more? Can we wrestle more? I already want, I'm trying to put it out into the universe and the juju. I want a Lumberjackson's Machu Picchu fight in the Wade family backyard.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see
Yeah.
her just kick ass. And also, like, again, that probably might be the only time I get to fly on the show is if I'm going up against Carlito and Tars. So I will take that. But we definitely want to wrestle more, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
It gets in your blood, right?
Oh,
You get bit by
yes.
the
I want
bug,
more.
you know? So
Yes.
enjoy every minute of it because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
For sure.
These aren't
So
roles
say that there's a Royal Rumble going on.
Yes.
All you girls get together. You take Kia Stevens. She goes over the ropes.
Yes.
Who's the person that lasts? Rebecca Johnson's claimed that she would be the first one gone.
Oh, first
I mean,
one
she
gone?
said that Kia Stevens would be the last standing.
Last
So
standing.
I'm saying if you guys conspired, got her out of the ring.
Yeah.
Which one of you ladies would be the last one standing?
Ellen Wong, Fortune
Britney.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Really?
Hands. I mean, thank you. I would hope it would be me, and I'd be down to take the crown. But there's just something about Ellen, and especially Fortune Cookie, where you just don't know what she's going to do next. She's so fast. She's so fierce and aggressive. But then at the same time, she kind of has that aspect of like I think of it like Puss in Boots, like, don't hurt me, like, oh my god, bam! I'm gonna, you know, like she can trick you and just be like, oh, are you hurt? Are you okay? Is this for real?
Yeah.
And then just clock you. So I'm gonna go with Fortune Cookie for the crown season 2.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
I mean, I love
my
Machu
God.
Picchu, but typical glow girl, you root for your girls.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Ellen.
That's
Wow,
amazing.
great.
That's
Rebecca,
amazing.
first one out. What?
Great question. Oh my God.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, you guys, that's our show for today. Catch us next
Been an
week.
hour
We're gonna,
already?
yeah, it has been an hour.
I know it goes by so
I know
fast.
it
It
does.
always goes by so fast.
We're gonna recap episodes 5 and 6. I can't wait because I've been waiting now a week to watch the shows again, and I feel like I get to now. I'm kind of, the nervousness is over and the excitement's in. I can just kind of sit back and take it for a ride. And now I'm appreciating all of these little tiny, like Bill, when you caught that.
Testing the ring
Yeah,
mat.
testing the ring. It was brilliant. Little things like that are absolutely brilliant about the show. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I want to thank you, and I want to thank
you.
Babe.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Little
you.
Egypt.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you all.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yes,
Britney.
thank
Yeah.
you. Ugh.
Machu Picchu.
Let's go around the room and find out. Let's just kind of close out and let everyone know where they can find us one last time. My name's Little Egypt. You can find me on Twitter at Little Egypt.
I'm Brittany Young, and you can find me on Twitter at It's Brittany Young and Instagram at Brittany Young.
All right. You can find me on all social media at Sundown Motel and check out all of our writing over at uprocks.com.
And I'm Rick Hong. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG.
I'm Babe the Farmer's Daughter, and you can find me at Twitter on Glow Wrestling with 1W.
Woo!
Woo!
Woo. Okay,
Thank
that's our
you.
show for
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Thank you so
Happy
much for
4th of
tuning
July.
in. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.